Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jana Marie. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I create a mandala, and I'm going to give you a few tips as well if you want to try and draw a mandala yourself. Feel free to draw along with me. First, I want to find the center of the page. To do that, I measure and mark the center of the length of the page, as well as the center of the width of the page, and then I connect the marks. I put very little pressure on the pencil because I want to be able to erase all the marks after I've filled in all the patterns. The lines will cross in the very center of the page. Now that we have the center, we can start creating circles which will serve as guides for our patterns that we're going to draw. To create the first circle, I used a stencil just because it's a bit difficult to use a compass to make a small circle. You can make the first circle or any of the circles as big or small as you want, and as wide or narrow apart from each other as you'd like. I like having a few wider apart and a few closer to each other at random. I never really plan out how I want to draw my circles. After we've drawn our circles, we want to create a few extra guides by drawing lines through the center, like the horizontal and the vertical lines. Draw a line from where the vertical line meets a circle line to where the horizontal line meets that same circle. It doesn't really matter which circle, but I would recommend choosing one of the inner circles because we're going to do the same thing with one of the outer circles as well. Do this all around. Now, measure and mark the center of each diagonal line. You can actually do this without drawing lines, but I've found that this is the most accurate way. Now connect all the marks through the center. Now you have 8 perfectly even lines going through the center which will serve as guides when we're drawing. You can go even further and do the same process to get more lines. I would actually recommend making more lines than just these 8 because you will see later on that I actually decided to add them because I needed the guides. Now it's time to begin drawing the first pattern. For mine, I decided to draw inspiration from a flower. So I drew flower petals going around the center. You can start with any pattern. Just look around you and look for patterns that you can see. You can also find some inspiration on the internet. Or you can just try and do what I did here. For these flower petals, I used the lines as my guides. This way the flower looks the same all around and it's more symmetrical. Moving on to the second pattern, I decided to draw more flower-like petals. You can really draw anything, just use the lines as your guides. I always first draw my mandalas in pencil. This way I can make mistakes and then later erase them or change them. When drawing the mandala in pencil, you don't have to draw it completely perfect. When you go over it with pen or paint or whatever you use to color it in, then you can actually use that to fix some little mistakes. When you come to a certain point and you feel a bit stuck, you don't know what pattern should I draw next. That's okay, just take your time, look around you, find some inspiration on the internet. Don't rush a mandala. I think that's very important when drawing a mandala is you shouldn't rush it. It's something that you should do to relax. Drawing a mandala should be a relaxing activity. So don't rush yourself into having to find the next pattern. You can actually just get up a bit, go make yourself some tea, and then you come back. Then you'll probably have a new idea. You can also decide how detailed you want your mandala. Sometimes it's not necessary to draw too much detail to have a beautiful mandala. For the mandala that I drew, I used quite small patterns, but you can use bigger ones. It also depends on what the purpose for your mandala is. If you want a big wall hanging of a mandala, it's better to use bigger patterns than smaller detailed patterns, because you won't be able to see all the detail from a further distance anyway. Sometimes I mark where I'm going to draw the next patterns, just to be a bit more accurate. Here you can see I decided to add more guidelines. Now it's time for the most fun part, coloring in the mandala. But first we're going to outline all the patterns that we drew. This is where we can fix some little mistakes, and marking the patterns before we color it in just gives us a better idea of the colors that we want to use. You don't have to do it like this, you can just immediately start coloring it in, but I like to outline my patterns first. After I've outlined all the patterns, I erase all the pencil marks. And now comes the most satisfying part, coloring it in. For this I use different mediums. I used pencils, markers, and I used one brush pen. You can use anything you'd like. Paint, pencils, pens, markers, brush pens. and that was my tutorial on how to draw a mandala. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you found some inspiration. If you're going to draw your own mandala, please tag me on Instagram when you post it. Also, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. That would be really appreciated. Okay, that's it from me guys. Thank you for watching and subscribing, and then I will see you in the next video.